to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. If you're new here, then welcome. My name's Olivia. I'm so excited to have you, and I really appreciate you visiting this Q&A. Like I just said, today's video is going to be a Q&A featuring all the questions that you guys have been submitting to me over the last month or so. So I asked you a few videos back to ask me questions that you would like answered. I know a lot of you are hoping to get to know me better, hear more about my life outside of YouTube, and just more about who I actually am. So I'm excited to answer those questions for you guys and get to know you a little better. So I'm just gonna pull up the questions on my phone, that way I have them right here. I'll try and answer all of the ones that you guys asked, but if you think of anything after I do this video, if you think of anything you want to know, or just more questions come up, leave them in the comments on this video, because I would love to do more Q&As in the future and fill you guys in on anything you're hoping to learn about. So the first question is, what would you describe as your personal style, and how did you and your boyfriend/husband meet? So my personal style, I feel is a very strange blend of a bunch of different types of styles. I feel my style changes every single day. You know, one day I'll be in Converse and I don't know, more laid back stuff, and then the next day I'll feel wearing a romper and heels and which I guess isn't that that much variety now that I say it out loud, but I feel I'm definitely a mix of bohemian. I like edgy styles. I don't know if I'm an edgy person, but I feel I like edgy fashion. And then I also really like girly stuff, florals, feminine, romantic styles, especially for spring with pastels and things like that. I think the number one thing I have to say about my style is that I'm super casual. Today I'm just sitting here in my workout tank top, just hanging out to film this video, and I have leggings on right now. And so my go-to outfit on the weekends is jeans and a t-shirt, or jeans and a tank top, jean shorts and a t-shirt in the summertime, and some sort of gladiator sandals or something like that. So I'm super casual, but I really do like to mix it up. I feel it changes on a daily basis depending what mood I'm in, but casual with some boho, edgy feminineness, if that makes sense. And then as far as how did I meet my husband, so we don't have this really romantic story. We met in high school when I was in high school and he was in college. And we actually just met at a party, but it's kind of funny because his little brother, his younger brother is my age, and we grew up in the same grade, so I knew his younger brother, and I knew of his family and everything. And so when I was in high school, when I was 16 or 17, I went to a party at their house, and that's how I met him. And I was super obnoxious back then, so it's kind of funny because our first conversation ever, of us talking, he was yelling at me and telling me to be quiet because I was being too loud in his house. But yeah, so we just met when I was in high school at a party at his house. And like I said, I knew his family and his younger brother and everything growing up, but we somehow bypassed each other all of growing up. So even though I knew his family and I knew his brother, who's kind of close in age to him, I had never met him, and we had never, our paths had never crossed. We graduated from the same high school, but I transferred to that school halfway in, so he had just graduated, so we just missed each other. And then we met when I was a junior. And yeah, been together ever since. Okay, this question says, what is my career, or what am I working towards? So I actually got a lot of questions like this about what my job is, what I do outside of YouTube, things like that. So basically, to make a long story short, I'm a stylist. I'm a wardrobe stylist. I've done styling for a few years now, and I really do love it. It's always been my dream. I've always wanted to be a stylist, and I think that's why I have so much fun doing outfit videos and lookbooks and things like that, because that's where my passion is. My dream when I was growing up, as a little kid, my dream was always to move to LA and be a celebrity stylist and do the red carpet, and now that's so far from who I am, but I think I'm much more laid back than that. But I do really like styling everyday normal people like myself, and so that's kind of what I've made my career of so far. I don't really have any set career goals I have, or a path I want to follow. I'm very much a live in the moment type of person, and so I definitely have goals short term, and I have some things I'm working on. But long term, I typically don't make plans, just because I want to live every day like it's my last, and I want to focus on the present. So I know that sounds cheesy, but that's just always my mentality. So if someone asked me what's my 5-year or 10-year plan, I just don't have one. And I would prefer not to make one, because I don't want to set myself to a certain standard that I have to live up to, and then I'll be disappointed if I don't. So I just kind of take what comes at me, make the most out of everything. I guess the one thing I am working towards that you know, just I guess it's like my mission in life is just to like spread positivity and use my life to make other people happy, because I think that that's what we all were put on this earth to do, is to like spread love. And so I really want to use my life to do that, and so far I think I'm doing it. And I just want to live like a very well-rounded, balanced, happy life. That's like that's what I'm working towards, and I think I'm pretty much there. I'm really happy with where I'm at right now, and I think that down the road, like when we have kids and we have a family, that will just kind of like close the circle and like complete everything for me. Okay, this question is, what are your favorite colors and the stories about how and when you got your lovely dogs? I love this question so much. When I first saw it, because I read these like when you guys first wrote them, and when I first saw this question, it like meant so much to me that you asked about my dogs, because I am like a legit like crazy dog lady, and I thought it was so cute that you wanted to know the story of that. So thank you for asking that. My favorite colors are probably like white and gold. Well, definitely white and gold, and then some shade of like pink or peach, something like that. Like a pale peach. Those have just always kind of been my go-to colors, and like for my wedding, my bridesmaids all wore these like bold peach dresses, and if I could go back, I probably wouldn't have them wear quite as bright of dresses. I think now I would do more of like a dusty rose or like a pale peach or something like that. But yeah, those have just always been like my go-to colors, like white and gold with some pink, peach, pastel, pale, dusty rose action, and then like silver sprinkled in. And then the story of how we got our dogs is so special to me. I had actually begged my dad for a dog for like years, like practically all my life. I wanted like a little dog of my very own. I grew up with dogs. I'm like an insane dog person, and pretty much like half the dogs we had growing up we got because I begged my parents to get them. So around the time I started to become like adult-ish, like around 20, we were living in my parents' old house, and so I had to get my dad's permission to get a dog, and it took a lot of convincing. Like, he was not just like, oh yeah, go ahead, have a dog. Like, it took months, and then I finally wore him down and he said yes. And so Jordan and I went out like dog shopping, and we were just gonna go to a couple different like rescue places, get an idea of kind of what we wanted. We didn't have like a breed in mind. We just wanted a small dog that would be somewhat easy to care for. And Callie just like spoke to us. Like, she had this cute little white line down her forehead, and she just stood out, and her face was so expressive, and she's still the exact same way. And she just like stood out immediately. And so we're like, okay, we'll take a look around, and then, you know, we'll make a decision in a few days. And by the end of the day, we just like couldn't stop thinking about her, and we went back and got her the same day. And then with Coco, it actually was the exact same situation. So with Coco, I had to beg my dad for a second dog. Callie had been getting like super rambunctious and really anxious. Like, she just really needed a playmate. She was like a year old, and we would play with her all the time, but she would get just kind of like wound up. So we wanted her to get her like a little sister so they could be best friends. And so I begged my dad, I like wore him down again. He said yes to a second dog, and we went out just to like get ideas, and we ended up falling in love with her. So my first dog came from a rescue place, like a local rescue place, and she was with a bunch of puppy mill puppies that had been rescued from a puppy mill. And that's why she's kind of a mix. I think she actually got mixed in with a litter that wasn't like her own. So we don't know for sure what breed she is. I think she's like Shih Tzu-ish, because she was with other Shih Tzu puppies. So I think she's like Shih Tzu, maybe Pekingese or Japanese Chin. A lot of people think that. So yeah, she's mixed with something like that. And then with Coco, I really wanted to adopt a dog from another rescue place because I felt really good about it. But we went shopping to like Petland just to look at different breeds of dogs and get an idea. And she was in there, she was already 5 months old, which is fairly old for like puppies that you're buying. She was already 5 months old, and she was in the very last window all the way in the back of the store with a clearance sign on her cage. Like, she had been marked down on sale. And it just like broke my heart, and I was like, God knows what will happen to this dog if we don't take her. And so I feel like we did rescue her in the same sense, but I really didn't want to get our dog from a pet store, but we just fell in love with her, and the two of them have been like best friends ever since. Okay, so if you were not doing YouTube, what would you be doing? Well, like I said, I do work outside of YouTube, but if like I could pick like any job, if I wasn't doing that and I wasn't doing YouTube, and like I could pick anything else, I honestly don't know. I think maybe something to do with travel, except then I'd have to be away from my husband a lot. I don't know. I would probably still be some sort of like stylist or fashion related. Or maybe my original dream when I was growing up, before I decided I wanted to go into fashion, I originally wanted to work for a magazine and be like a fashion magazine journalist, so maybe that would be my alternate career. What was your childhood like? I love my childhood. I feel like I had a really solid family growing up. I'm really blessed and lucky to have the childhood that I have. I'm an only child, and so I think growing up I was a lot more spoiled than I realized, and now that I'm an adult and I look back on it, and I know especially around like preteen years and teenager years, I was a really bad teenager. I think now that I look back on it, I see like how fortunate I was and also how like misbehaved I was at times. So, but yeah, I had a really great childhood. I went to private school from like 3rd grade to halfway through high school. When I was growing up, I did ballet and tap and jazz. I played softball, I played basketball. Like I was a super active kid. Because I was an only child, my parents let me have friends over like all the time or go on sleepovers. Like they really wanted my social life to be very active since I didn't have siblings. And I think they did a great job of that. I never felt lonely. I always wanted a sibling growing up. Like when I was younger, I would wish on my birthday every year for like a brother or sister. And now that I'm an adult, I'm so glad I don't have any, because I think I'm just the type of person where I like need to be independent and on my own. And I'm fortunate to have a ton of siblings by marriage now, so that's awesome. And I feel like that's kind of like made up for it. But yeah, I had an awesome childhood. The town I'm from is really, really small, so we had a great community, like tons of neighborhoods. You could walk everywhere, you could bike everywhere. It was super safe. And I'm just really like blessed to have had that experience, and I hope I can do that for my kids too. How old are you? I am 26. I will be 27 this year. I feel like I'm getting old. Favorite quote? I think my favorite quote, I'm sure there's like a lot, but one that like I consistently kind of keep in the back of my brain is, don't judge others because they sin differently than you. I think that applies to a lot in life, especially like the quote says, like everybody sins differently. Don't judge somebody else by what they're doing with their life, because somebody else could very well judge you by what you're doing with yours. And I think that goes back to like the golden rule, treat others how you want to be treated. But that quote just, it makes so much sense to me. And so, you know, anytime if I would look at somebody and be like, wow, how can they be like that? And then I think, well, they probably would think that about some of the things I do too. Nobody's perfect. Everybody does sin in some way or some capacity. So just don't judge others because they sin differently than you. I think that's super true. Religion. So I guess I would say I'm Christian. I don't really have a specific religion. I do believe in God. I feel like I'm a very like spiritual person. You know, I pray often, and I want to keep that relationship strong, but I wouldn't say that I identify under any specific religion. I went to Catholic school when I was growing up, and I feel like it kind of forced religion on me so much that when I got out of it, I just really wanted to have an open mind and like love everything and accept everything and be open to everybody's different opinions. So I try and do that, but yeah, I don't have a specific religion. I guess I would say Christian because I do celebrate like Christmas and things like, and Easter, but no like specific organization or anything. What does your husband do for a living? So my husband's in sales. He manages a branch and just does like sales. His industry is like super complicated that it's hard for me to explain, but he's always been like a salesman. He's like a sales guy at heart, and he's really good at it. So I'm super proud of him. Where do you see yourself in 5 years, and would you ever want to do YouTube full time? So I think that's such a good question. I think anybody that does YouTube would definitely love to do it full time. It's hard for me to say that because I am really happy with where I'm at right now, both like professional and personal, but I do love that this is like such a creative and personal outlet for me. And so, you know, like who knows, we'll see where my channel takes me. But yeah, so in 5 years, I would like to just be, I guess, on somewhat of a similar path, maybe just like further down it. I would love to have kids, like not like old kids because I don't want to have babies right now, but maybe have like one baby, if not like working on the second one. And that's about it. Just like living where I'm living, keeping the relationships and friendships that I have, seeing my family really often, just the things I get to do now that make me happy. I would love to just do those like all the time. And I think for me, more so than like where I see myself in 5 years, it's kind of about like interpersonal growth. I have a lot of like goals within my personality that I would like to accomplish within 5 years, just to like stress less and like balance things better and things like that. So I would like to have those mastered within 5 years. We'll see. But yeah, I just see myself doing the same stuff I'm doing now, like working in fashion, putting cute outfits together, taking my dogs to the dog beach, spending time with my husband, and then just throw some kids in there too. What is your all-time favorite clothing item and does it have a story? That is such a good question. That's so creative, I love it. So my all-time favorite item would actually be really difficult for me to pick. Like, I feel like I would choose my wedding dress over anything, but I have a lot of meaningful pieces that are things that like I remember wearing for special events, or I remember, you know, buying at this place, or I feel like every piece that's in my closet has its own story, and when I look at it I can remember like all of these things behind it, and so it's so hard for me to pick like one particular item. I brainstormed this for like a day trying to think about it, and I feel like I couldn't think of just one. I'm scooting up closer because I don't know if the focus is working on this and it's driving me insane. But yeah, and I think I have one jacket, so it's like a workout jacket, and it's from Victoria's Secret. It's a Victoria's Secret sport jacket, and it just zips up. It's black and gray, and then the color's kind of pink, and on the arms it says Los Angeles, and it says like LA right here. It's got pockets, it's got an inside pocket, and it's got like the thumb hole, so it's like my all-time favorite like athletic jacket. But that one is really meaningful to me because I actually got it because I've talked a couple times about how I was in a really bad car accident about 1.5 years ago, and I actually want to eventually do an entire video on that because I have a lot to say about it that I wasn't able to talk about on my channel before, and now I can. And on top of that, I think it made me, you know, see life in a certain way, and I would like to share that. But yeah, so I was in a really bad car accident like 1.5 years ago, and the hoodie that I was wearing in my accident was also a Victoria's Secret hoodie. It was like a pink hoodie, and it got blood all over it, like splattered blood, like soaked all over the front of my clothes. So I totally lost that sweatshirt that I had on that day, and my aunt sent me, as like a get well soon gift, she sent me a gift card to Victoria's Secret, and it was like a $50 gift card to buy myself a replacement sweatshirt. And so I used that gift card to buy this like athletic jacket that I now wear all the time. It's like my go-to. So I guess that's the one thing that like stands out as the most meaningful to me, aside from my wedding dress. That's the one piece of clothing I have that like I think has the most like impact on me. And then the last question I received was, what were my, I can't remember the exact wording, I can't find it right now on the videos, but this one was a really good one as well, and it was like, what are my regrets, or what do I regret, and how would I do things differently if I could go back, or would I do things differently? And I thought it was so interesting because I feel like everybody probably has some things that they're like, oh, I shouldn't have done that, or I should go back, or I wish I could just undo that. And I think for me, I'm sure there's like little things like working harder on a paper, not skipping school as much in high school, or things like that. But overall in my life, I honest to God feel that every single thing, every move I've made has led me to where I am right now. I'm like 100% positive of it. And I've made a lot of mistakes in my life. I've had a lot of opportunities to learn more about myself and how to treat people. And I think that had I not made those mistakes, I wouldn't be the person I am today, and I wouldn't be where I am or living the life I'm living right now. So I honestly, I don't regret anything major in my life. Even the things I've done wrong, or the wrong turns I've made, or mistakes I've made, have all fallen in place to bring me where I am now. So I feel like I can't pick like one thing that I regret. But the only thing I can think of is that I wish I would have started YouTube sooner. Like, to be honest, that's like one thing that I kind of, looking back, I feel like I had wanted to start YouTube for so long before I did, and it just was like working up the confidence and courage to do it, because it's hard. It's hard to like, it's easy to sit here in a room by myself and film this video, but it's hard to like put that out on the internet and, you know, get hate for it or backlash or people making fun of you or whatever it is. Which I'm really lucky that I haven't had a lot of, especially with the people I know. But I had told my husband like 2 years before I actually started my YouTube channel, I told him I wanted to like 2 years before that, and then it took me 2 years to work up the courage to do it. So I wish I would have done that beforehand. I think it would have been cool to have started it when I lived in Ohio, and that way I could have documented my whole move out here. But with that being said, I mean, had I started it in Ohio, who knows if that, you know, would have affected my life out here in California later on somehow. Like, I'm not saying it would, but you just never know. So I like to just trust that everything I've done is for a reason. It's all, and honestly, a lot of, like I was saying, a lot of the mistakes I've made, I can directly look at the results of those and how they like brought me to where I am. So I'm really thankful for those, but I do wish I would have started YouTube sooner. Okay guys, so that's it for this Q&A. Let me know if you have any other questions. I would love to hear from you. Leave them in the comments down below or any other requests for videos. I was so happy to hear that a lot of you guys wanted me to do this, and the questions you submitted were like awesome. They really make me think, so I really appreciate that. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video and it gave you some insight into who I am. And that's about it. So I hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.